All right, here we are on the High Octane Dads podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our feet again. If you haven't found our Feet Finder account on the internet, be sure to go and look for it. It
Only
is
dads.
not out there. But what I will tell you is that we do have some new merchandise on shop.highoctanedads.com. If you're interested in a t-shirt or anything like that, we got them out there. I got mine. Love it. I got should have one in the mail to Chris here pretty soon, and a special surprise to one of the listeners as well. I'm going to get one shipped out. So. But let's roll in. I think it's episode 39, Chris.
Something like that.
All right. Well, we're talking the cars, and when the cars fail you, our feet apparently. So we'll jump in and get started. Yeah, you got to. I mean, if we were Ford drivers, we might have to do that a little more often. But we got to start controversy, right? Like that's how you get views on the internet these days.
So I tell you what, I really, for what they are, I like the little Ford Mavericks.
Yeah. I mean, but
I'd like to have one for just like a commuter, for back and forth to work, around town. I'm not hauling a lot with it. Something to save gas. I'm never one to say I'm going to save gas, but I mean, I don't know, just for like a little beat around town, like a little. I think I'd rather have one of those than a Ridgeline.
Here's the thing, though, man, and it really grates on me, just like with the Mustang Mach-E and the new Blazer, and like I guess the Blazers aren't as bad, but like you come out with this stuff and you like it's a Maverick, but then like my best friend's dad's got an amazing 70s grabber Maverick. And I'm like, that's a Maverick. This is like
what the Ranger
an iteration of the Ranger. Yeah, like come on,
I was thinking about that too.
Where do they come up with the name for some of this stuff? Like, and when they came out with, like, if you had released a electric SUV Ford, right? If you released electric SUV, that's fine. To call it a Mustang, like why? And I mean, I guess it's because it got them some publicity. I'm sure people have talked about this a lot, and it's been some time, but I remember when it released, it's like, it'd be like tomorrow, if they came out with a, one with Chevrolet and they started calling it a Camaro. Like it just, that's not what that is.
Well, they'll bring out the Chevelle,
and it just bugs me. Like, but I do like them. I think they're
yeah. So like I was thinking about that the other day though.
We think we're gonna get something akin to the Challenger.
Yeah,
but you get like a truck,
a Chevy Spark.
What?
Well, so I was thinking about them, and I'm like, it's more of like what I would think of a Ranger. And the Ranger's more like what the F-150s used to be. And I'm like, all right, so they got it backwards. We got like the Maverick is the Ranger, and then the Ranger is like an F-150. Our fucking F-150s are like what a 250 used to be.
Yeah, I've thought about that over the years. Like, is it just? I guess it's just safety, because like the trucks didn't necessarily need to get bigger, but like if you park my OBS next to my 14, it looks like it's sitting next to an S10 from 15 years ago. And especially now without the front fenders and everything else, it definitely doesn't look as big as my 14. But yeah, I mean, everything's just gotten progressively bigger and bigger and bigger. And like you said, so the Rangers now, if you sat it next to, like, I used to have an 86 F-150, like,
same size as the new Ranger. Yeah, so like when I still had my Yukon XL, which was an 03, and it got totaled in late 2014. So like 2013, 14, there was, the 14 body style GM trucks coming out. And later that summer, we were at the beach and they started coming out with some of the new body style Tahoes and Yukons. And I just remember parking next to one. I'm like, this motherfucker is huge compared to this Suburban. Like my Yukon was a Yukon XL. It was a GMT 800, 1500. But the new half-ton Tahoes and Yukons were huge compared to it. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and it was just like they were so much bulkier. And it probably is all the safety crap and,
crumple zones and adding airbags and all these places and stuff like that. The bumpers are so much bigger.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody like knows for sure what it is, but it's definitely changed a lot over what it used to be.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, I would imagine if you could compare, back in what I consider the heyday of cars, right? Like, obviously, classics are amazing. You love the 70s muscle cars. We're obviously a fan of the 80s shit boxes. But, look at like the early 2000s. Like, I've really been in this nostalgia mood. And there's a local guy, he bought like an old like a 2000 Civic, and he put the wild graphics on the side of it. He's got
Yeah.
subs in the back. Like he done it up full on thousands car culture style. And I've got some pictures of it. If I think about it when I do the editing, I'll put them up here. His name's Chip, local guy. He does raps and stuff, does some
Okay.
amazing work. But yeah, that car is, I mean, it's if you just seen it going down the road, like it's not crazy. It's not have a big wang on it or anything. It's just
Right.
but
Clean.
it looks like something you would have seen, right after Fast and Furious came out. And I don't know, I've just been kind of jonesing for that lately. Like just instead of where everybody's so wrapped
You
up in
know what it
racing and
is?
everything else.
It's that midlife crisis.
No, you're not wrong. But most folks got to their midlife crisis and they're like, man, I'm going to get a Corvette. And I'm over here like, fucking, an RSX wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Dude, so, and that's kind of what I'm getting at also. I mean, I've been doing a lot more driving and all over the place lately. And I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind getting something a little smaller. I'm not getting rid of anything. I'm like, I was
I
like,
need to
man,
get rid of some stuff, but
like an old RSX or something. But then I'm like, looking and thinking, I'm like, trying to be somewhat practical. I'm like, something like one of the Mavericks would be perfect for what I'm needing. And, or like, because I thought about like a Civic or like an Accord or something. Then I'm like, I really wouldn't need like a 150 or a Ranger because I plan to keep my Suburban to tow and haul the kids in and all that mess. Then I'm like, I don't need a big vehicle, but something that I could still have a truck bed. I love a Tacoma, but I don't have $1 million for a Tacoma. Something that still gets
dude, yeah.
15 miles a gallon though. So yeah, I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
I think I've said it a few times on the podcast that I've toyed with selling my 2014 Silverado, and now like I have this 300,000 mile Tahoe sitting out here, but it would work. It would haul my car. It might blow up one day, but with the money from the Silverado, I can, you know what I mean? I can handle it. I can put a 6.2 in it down the road if I wanted to. So I mean, there's definitely options there, and I'm really just kind of, I don't know, the nostalgia is definitely getting me. There's a local guy's got an RSX, and it looks just like my '06. I mean, same
Yeah.
wheels, it's lowered, and then he also has a white CTSV, and I'm like, you might be living at least the car life that I wanted. He's also a big fitness guy, like he's a personal trainer around here and does the bodybuilding competitions and stuff. So
His name.
I mean, no, no, but the jealousy might be a
Yeah.
little bit there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely it's a nice RSX, and I don't know, man. I want it all. Want a little bit of
Yeah.
want a
It's
little bit of
kind of
that.
like, all right, so I kind of feel the same way. It's like, all right, I want them all. I want to collect them all. I want to rescue them all the old shit boxes sitting around. Kind of like the same way I'd love to do with like all the old rescue dogs. I want to rescue them all, but it's hard. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
disheartening.
Well, and I know full well. Can you hear this dog?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hear him.
He knows my wife's home, and I've gotten the door shut, and so he's like freaking out. I'm sure she'll come get him in a second. But yeah, like the other thing too is that I know, and this is really probably a topic for this podcast, very specifically, right? Is that I find myself. I mean, everybody says 15 minutes a day, whatever, and sure, I can find 15 minutes a day to get out in the garage, but like I've got a lawn to take care of, I got a pool to keep clean for the kids, got you know work to do, um, you know around the house. I got kids' school events, and you can't make everything, right? Like you can't be at every practice, you can't be at all this stuff, but I definitely try to be.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
But yeah, I mean, you can't make everything, but I'll be damned if I don't try. My
Right.
dad wasn't at everything, but my dad was at the stuff that mattered. Well,
Right.
like today was my kid's first day of school. I was there. You know what I mean? I made sure I went into work a little late. I took him to school. I had open house a couple days ago. Just trying to be wherever they need me to be, right? Like,
Right.
because one day they're going to be grown and moved out. You're close to that, and I am too. Like, I've got one that's 18. Like, she starts college in a couple of weeks, but like another one he's a senior this year, and then a fifth grader. So like it became very, very real to me all of a sudden, and I won't say it's all of a sudden, but it became very real to me that there will be time to mess with the cars, right? But missing, something with their school or whatever, like when that's gone, that's gone. And so, again, I know people are going to be like, yeah, but you can do both. You can work on the car and do this stuff. And sure, but I'm also, ADHD and a procrastinator. Like I only have so much bandwidth. So I don't know. It's
And a lot of that depends on like your career that you're in, the way things physically or mentally wear on you. Sometimes how you recuperate, it may not be something that you can just do because of whatever reason, and not everybody's the same. And where you are in your life too.
yeah, I mean, I spend all day in meetings. Physically, I'm not out, in this heat and stuff like that, other than, Steve was talking the other day, and talking about being out in this heat and working, and I pray for him because it's brutal. But I was like, yeah, but I have to let the dog out like 3 times a day, and it's hot out there. But I'm in, I'm in meetings literally from like I get like 8 to 9 every morning when I start work to kind of plan my day, and then after that, it's like a whirlwind of meetings, or I'm addressing an issue or something, and meeting with people one on one, whatever. And it just, by the end of the day, I'm like, I want to sit in silence. And that's what I do. I might play a game or something, but man, I don't want to make decisions at the end of the day because I have
Yeah.
made decisions for people all day long.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's like me. I've been really bad about it lately, and I did it today. It's like I'm more in a sedentary office space now, and it's not always like that. But then I've got a couple new people, and it's just like my mind's constantly engaged. And we're doing something. I'm looking at the computers all day long, and I get home, and it's like my brain's fried. And I came home, my head was hurting, and I changed clothes, put my pajama shorts on that I got on now, and I lay down in the bed for a minute, and I slept for an hour and a half. I woke up, I'm
well,
like, oh shit.
so there's a reel when I first started with like TikTok or Instagram reels or whatever, when, the decline of my mental health, when I started just scrolling little 1 second videos or 3 second videos. There's one from T-Pain.
Yeah.
And I respect T-Pain a lot. I like T-Pain, but he said something that really just rubbed me the wrong way. Cause he was like, when you get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee. Coffee's good. Have a cup of coffee. If you get to 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you feel like you need a cup of coffee, take a nap. You do not need a second cup of coffee. You need a nap. And that just didn't sit too good with me because I was like, I do need a second cup of coffee because not all of us can lay down in the middle of the dang day. But I mean, but a midday nap is like probably the best thing if you
I
can do it.
agree. Yeah. I don't know. Like this time of year, I'm a big coffee drinker. I love coffee. But I guess this time of year, I've switched to more of the iced coffees and stuff like that because I get hot. And like if I'm drinking hot coffee, I want black coffee, but then I'm getting bad about getting, the mocha ice, whatever, latte, mocha froca bullshits. And I'm like, these things get expensive, but they're refreshing.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the last time. I don't know if you guys have the 7 brews or whatever, but dude, they've got like cinnamon roll or
Yeah.
you know,
Some of them are obnoxious, but they're good.
yeah. I mean, and the good thing about them is like you can get like there's a German chocolate one.
Mm,
It's German chocolate, like a coffee drink, but we'll go through. I'm like kind of dragging my, I need some caffeine. You swing in there and order one of those things, and I drink the whole dang thing, and I'm like, there was no coffee. Like, where was the coffee? I don't think there was any in it. They just gave me some
sugar.
chocolate milk with, yeah. But the good thing about, I will say, you mentioned the sugar. The good thing about the Seven Brew is everything they have on the menu you can order sugar free. So every syrup they have a sugar
Cool.
free version of it. So that's honestly, we overpay for that crap. I think it's probably $13 for me and Crystal to drive through there and both get a drink. But we know we can go in there and get something sugar free. Until the other day, my son ordered one that wasn't sugar free. My wife and I both get one that is sugar free. The guy hands us one and says, "That's the sugar free one." He hands me another one and said, "That's the one with sugar." So I hand it to the back. He hands me another one and says, "Wait, no, that's the sugar one." And they all tasted the same. So now we're playing roulette with who's fixing to get the sugar filled, 1,500 calorie drink and who's going to get the lower calorie non sugar
Yeah.
ones. And I was like, it doesn't affect us other than like I'm going to intake way more sugar than I probably normally would if it's not a big deal because my next meal I'm just going to be right back on the way I eat. But like, what if you did that with somebody that was diabetic?
Right.
It just made me realize like they don't label them as they make them. They hand it to the guy that gives it to you, and he's got to
Yeah.
remember. And so I was like, what in the world? Like, I don't really know if I'm drinking the real deal or not. But they
Right.
probably just put sugar in all of them and just tell us they don't.
Probably.
Is more than likely the
Yeah.
real answer.
And the way to get around that is learn how to do it at home.
Yep.
But then
Well,
that's a whole nother ADHD thing you get into. I got a new hobby. I make my own coffee at home, and you buy
bro,
all
I
this
got a
shit.
French press
See?
in there. I got you know me. I didn't go way down that rabbit hole because I finally it's I'm not a super environmentalist like out here, cussing people that, do things. But I became very aware, like with the Keurigs at one point, like how much waste in plastic do we generate with these little cups every time you make one cup of coffee? And then I was like, me and Crystal, we would literally make a cup of coffee for each of us in the morning. So I would run a K cup for me, and then I would just rerun the same K cup to make a slightly larger cup of coffee. But then I would make her. So it was 2 K cups a day in the morning for each of us. Then we might do one in the afternoon. And it's like, okay, we could just buy an old school coffee pot with the carafe and make coffee. So we bought this like ninja monstrosity it can do the single cups or,
Yeah,
the
we've got.
full. Yeah. And it's got like the frother on the side or
Wow.
something like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, my my power just flickered.
Yeah. I
I
heard
don't know
that
about you
thunder.
guys. Yeah, yeah. So we've been getting storms. Like it's almost like when we go to Florida, we know like man, it might rain every day. You get a little pop up thunderstorm, it's here and gone. But I swear, like almost every day. Steve recommended some stuff for me to spray like the yard with, like to kill the weeds, but like not the grass. And he was like, cut your grass, spray it when you don't have rain in the forecast for at least 24 hours. I'm like, all right, cool. That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how ours has been the last several weeks as well. It's like every day there's a storm rolling through.
There's definitely whatever extreme you consider, like there's a change to our weather and the patterns that we have. And like, I think they said, because used to, you had like Oklahoma and all that, like the areas that were like Tornado Alley, right? Like where I live is now officially in Tornado Alley,
Yeah.
apparently. And it didn't used to be. So yeah, we get a lot of the little like pop up storms and stuff. It's crazy, and it actually between us being out of town for a week and then the rain that we've gotten, like my pool went green.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting fancy. It's just an above ground, soft sided pool, but I try to keep it up, and I like to go out there and take a dip on my lunch break. But it
Yeah.
was it was green, like emerald green, the other day, and
Yeah.
I finally got I killed all the algae, sunk it to the bottom, and then I had to like vacuum it out today. So the pool's like half empty now. I'm exhausted from working on it, but it's like now I still got to cut grass, can do all this other stuff, but I do not need it to keep raining.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that one, but I
I'm
saw it
right by
earlier.
this window. The whole outside just lit up. It's crazy. Anyway,
Wow.
so I mean, we were talking about nostalgic cars and the old school car scene and stuff. And one of the things that I was talking about, it's right near LS Fest, and I got to decide what we're going to do with that if we're going or what we want to do. But Nopi is hosting an event in Atlanta at Atlanta Motor Speedway. They call it Echo Park now. I'll always call it Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. I remember when I had my RSX, like you would hop in the car and ride up to Atlanta to go to Nopi. That's where I got my Lowering Springs from and some other stuff. And it's a small place, but like where have those guys been for a decade? Like I haven't seen
I have no
anything with
clue.
Nopi on it.
Yeah.
Did y'all
I
have
don't
one near
know.
you, or is it just an Atlanta thing?
We never had one near us as far as I know of, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, Nopi Nationals. It looks like they're doing an event. That's interesting. August 15th through the 17th at MIR, Maryland International Raceway. They're doing an event. And then they'll be at Atlanta Motor Speedway September 13th through the 14th.
MIR is not that bad, far from.
Yeah, it says don't miss the return of Nopi Nationals. So like it's a whole thing that's coming back. It's pretty cool. It looks like they got some drift stuff, and I don't know, man. Atlanta Motor Speedway is only like hour and 20 minutes. Like I'm gonna have to go, even if I just
Yeah.
ride up for a day.
Yeah. So I didn't know that, but yeah, the one up there at Bud's Creek, that's only a couple hours from me. That's a really nice facility.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you guys talk about it a lot. I think I don't know if I feel like Matt races at MIR, right?
He
I
has.
know he goes to
So
Cecil more, but
the very first militia get together we had was at MIR.
really,
Yeah, and it was like, we met. Like that was the first time where I met Kevin Garrett. I think it was. I don't think it was the first time I met Matt, but it might have been the first time I met Matt. But yeah, there was a bunch of them that showed up, and some of the guys that aren't really active anymore. Uh, yeah, there was a lot of the guys that were there. I raced my Camaro. Ran 14 bottom 14s with it.
nice.
That Matt, I know Matt had a really good video from that event that he still had the Iron 370 in his car, and I remember he had a video where he set up on the two step and the two step failed, and basically he launched it off like an 8,500 RPM limiter or something, or 8,000. It was insane.
Jeez.
It sounded insane. Yeah, that was when the car had a big single exhaust on it, and it just sounded so amazing. You can always tell when it was Matt going down the track.
This is it's interesting. They have a drag class, but that's I don't know. This is interesting. I'm definitely have to go check it out. They've only got the two events listed, so MIR and Atlanta Motor Speedway.
No, like I said, we've I guess for the people that are listening, that's kind of something we've entertained with about possibly if we decided to not do the LS Fest thing, that I've thought about driving down to Georgia and like staying a weekend and us trying to hit up that event. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it might be something to look into.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
because this
definitely.
year it's like, whew, I know the last few years we've been going pretty well. I've gone 3 years in a row, and I've raced every year. And last year I did the Grand Champion, which was a blast, and I enjoyed it. But I was busy the whole time.
Yeah, you didn't really get a break because y'all were between. You were between the Corvette Museum and over at Beach Bend, and it was just like one day here, one day there, and you're making. I think you made like 19 autocross passes or
Yeah, I
something,
think it was like 18 of them, and then I drag raced
plus
too.
drag racing, and then yeah, it's
So
crazy.
like the very first day I drove, it was like 11-hour drive, and then stayed in the car and drag raced like 3 or 4 passes, and uh, then the very next day I was there first thing. We were racing at I think the Corvette Museum, and then after we finished that, we did the second half of the day at Beach Bend, and then the
And
next
it
day
flip
it
flop,
was
right?
like, yeah, we flip flopped, and I started at Beach Bend and then ended at the Corvette Museum. It
Yeah.
was a good time, and I will definitely do that class again. But this year I did not sign up for any classes, so we've been debating on doing like the car show thing, and then maybe just having a pop up tent and hanging out there and just trying to talk to people. And that could be fun too. It's still an option, but at the same time, it'd be kind of nice to see something different.
Yep.
Like I debated on doing the Holden cookout in the Midwest, and I think it's in like Indiana or something, but it's the weekend before. But I don't know. I've had people want me to do that as well, but it's just like a big weekend. It's like a big Holden car show basically, and everybody just cooks out. They do raffles and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, but that's still like a 10 or 11 hour drive for me.
Yeah. Well, whatever we do, I mean, we're going to spend the weekend making content, make videos. Like, it's one thing we didn't do last year, but it's because between me being, kind of on the media side of
Media,
things, and I'm trying to make sure I get photos for Steve, and then you've got all these other guys that I've met from going there, and it's like, okay, they're going up the staging lanes, and I'm running back over there to try to make sure I
yeah,
get them, and I don't want to miss their pass, and it just between that and then you racing, it was like there was
hmm
no time to make content for the channel, and that's really what I think we wanted to do. We were like, oh, if you're racing, there's more opportunities for that. The truth is,
there
you were
isn't.
wide open, unless you were doing a lot of in-car stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not
So
professionals at this, right? Like, it's
no,
also, I don't get a whole lot of like time off from work where I can go and just
yeah,
hang out. And so, I don't
it's
know.
nice to just do that. Have the downtime.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, we think of it. I've got all sorts of little good videos that I could use. We can make some shorts out of probably from that. Like I got some videos of you just passed out. You see your little beard flipping in the wind, and we could,
I remember that one. I was exhausted that day.
yeah, yeah. It was. It's a good time, but it's. I don't know. I mean, for me, I knew that this year I wasn't planning on really racing or dialing it back to a lesser class. Like I
Like,
really
just do
enjoyed the
autocross.
Grand Champion. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Grand Champion, but then just this year with the job change and everything, I really haven't been able to do the upgrades that I need and wanted. And uh, I don't know. I'm just at a point. I'm like, I'm doing a lot more running and driving right now, and there's like more wear and tear stuff I need to work on, and I'm not going to get done before I go. And I don't know. I really just don't want to put myself in a bind over something I don't really have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that for sure. Like I told Crystal, it'd be nice because pretty much everybody else I know, Steve's been and raced, Billy raced before, you raced last year also. Like it would be nice to take my car and participate. I mean, I was in the car show the first year I went 2 years ago, but I don't have enough seat time around here and the car is not tested enough that I'm not going to go put it in front of those people for, that long and sit in those staging lanes that long to go and crack off my 12:20 pass. It's just not worth it. I mean, if I had some more stuff done and the tune was right, maybe I would consider it. My other goal was, get the OBS done and just kind of vlog style of like, all right, I just finished this thing. Let's drive it up there. And that's not to say that's not still a possibility, but I would have to suddenly get a lot of free time. And the truth is,
Hey, you never know. Maybe we could do that. We had some time off, like a week. Come down if you had all your shit. We can come down there and hammer it out and
I'm
road
pretty
test some
sure I've
stuff.
got like everything but an alternator to put that thing in the truck. I just gotta get out and hammer it out. Put the heads on the engine and put the short block in the truck. And I've got power steering pump, pulley, accessory brackets from ICT billet. I might not have everything to do the air conditioning, but I mean that's just another bracket and add that on after the fact. And a different belt, obviously. So
Yeah, I found though that you're probably better off to at least get the stuff and put it on, because if you don't, you say you'll do it later, you probably won't, or you'll keep
mm,
putting it off.
yeah.
And so, I
The
mean,
good thing
even
is
if you don't get it hooked up, but if you got it on the truck,
mhm.
and then
Yeah.
you had the lines and stuff ran.
Yeah, when I got rid of the old TBI 350, we were loading it on a trailer for him to take it, and I was like, "Wait, I need to take that compressor off of there." And I don't think the compressor is any good, but because I'm using the kit from ICT that lets you use the stock OBS
Mm-hmm.
compressor or whatever. And I was like, if I don't take it off of there and then I don't have the money or time or whatever to order one before I put everything in the truck, you're right. I don't have like a dummy compressor to just go ahead and hook it up, get the right belt, and it's there. And then when I get ready to get the AC working, just swap the compressor. So we snatched it off of there really quick because he wasn't going to use it. So I don't know. I like I said, I have most everything but alternator and starter. I think are the only things I've not ordered. And just got to put the cam in it, put the heads on, and get cracking on it. It's just
We're gonna be driving it by Sunday, right?
if only. I mean, so here's the thing. Like with work, I'm doing a lot of exciting stuff, new stuff, but because my job changed, I've only been here. I've been there a little 7 months, but it's kind of a whirlwind, and I'm doing a lot of learning, and I'm learning to be not just a manager of a technical team, but like function as a project manager when you're doing these massive projects for customers and things, and that's a
Right.
whole skill set in of itself. And so I'm enrolled in classes that I'm doing after hours and then trying to spend time with the wife and kids and then find a little bit of time for myself. Like even 15 minutes is just it's a lot. I know it's a cop out, but I mean my career is definitely my focus at least for a little while. But I do think, there's some truth to what they call body doubling when you've got ADHD, and literally I can have somebody come and just hang out, and if there's somebody standing there in the garage with me or out in the driveway or whatever, and I'm working on something, just having that presence that somebody's there. Like a lot of times I don't need the help, but it's just like we're hanging
Mm-hmm.
out.
Right.
The working on the truck's kind of a byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get all kind of stuff done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just to be out there by myself, it's like I'm constantly thinking, man, that's 15 minutes of, the lectures I could be listening to get done with my PM certification and other stuff that I'm
Right.
working on. So
Yeah.
and I love learning new stuff. So I'm not saying that like a woe is me thing. Like I love that I'm being challenged at work and learning to do something new that I've not done before. But it just, that time's got to come from somewhere.
It does, and it's hard to gather sometimes. It really is.
And it is much easier to chill and work on a course inside in the air conditioning when, I vacuumed our pool out earlier and I'd been putting it off, not putting it off because I had to like put this chemical in it that sinks all the algae and stuff to the bottom. So you have to wait 24 hours, turn the pump off. So it wasn't like putting it off a ton, but I almost was like, maybe I'll do it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I got out there like right at 5. I got done with work. I got up, I walked out there. I just didn't think about it. I just hooked the vacuum up and started doing it. And I was done in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a 24-foot pool. So it takes a minute because the head of the vacuum's like, what, 9 inches or something. And I got
Man,
it
if you think
done.
9 inches is small, I'm in trouble.
It's all about context. That's 9 inches, right? About like that. That's what I was thinking. But I got that done, and it's like I had my smartwatch, I had stuck it in my pocket so it didn't get wet. I pull the thing out of my pocket, and it's like feels like 103. It was 7 p.m. I was like, dude, and I've been out there for 2 hours in it. And as I walked up on the porch, I was like, I'm a little lightheaded, and I didn't realize it until I slowed down. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I should have,
drink some water.
Broke this up into chunks or whatever. Yeah, I came in and drank some Corona water.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hot, and I guess at least if I had passed out, I'd probably would have just fell forward into the pool. But dude, the pool water is 95 degrees. It felt like a bath. I was like, so even when I get this thing clean, I'm not gonna feel like getting in it.
Right.
But we bought it's a little fountain thing. It goes on the return jet, so the water has to go up it, and then it like shoots out like a little fountain type deal.
Right.
Like $20 on Amazon. But this guy told me, he goes, if you run that overnight, then run your pump all night, it's cool. Like it'll cool it like 10 degrees overnight.
Wow.
Running that thing. So once I get it back right, I'll put the fountain thing back on it and let it run to try to cool it. And it was keeping it around 82, 83, even with it being this hot. But I had the regular jet on it, and then wasn't even circulating water overnight. And dude, it was like a bath. Like there's no way anybody's getting in there.
No, that's awesome though.
But I mean, it's cool to think about like how that works. You get that little, because that you're essentially air cooling that water, I guess, as it's going, and then you do that through the night, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I was just thinking about it. I was looking at your guitars hanging up. So I've been trying to get back into playing a little bit. And I actually just ordered a new elixirs for my acoustic. So I don't know if you've ever ran those or not, but that's the one that I've always ran on my acoustic guitars.
I'm finally back into playing guitars.
Yeah.
I bought this one off Marketplace from a local guy. He works part-time at a local music shop. It's an Ibanez acoustic electric. Mm-hmm. I love this thing. It plays great. And it's like this emerald green wood on the top. Mm-hmm. When I first looked at it, I was like, it was black guitar, and he wanted like $200 for it. I was like, I don't know. And then I saw one of the pictures. It's like in the sunlight, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go buy it.
Yeah.
And then this one is a J Tercer, like SG style electric, but it's got like the pearl inlays on the neck. And they're like jade tuners. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just super cool. And the dude wanted like $120 for the thing. So
hell yeah.
I went. He ended up handing me. He gave me a couple extra sets of strings and some picks, and it came with like a case, hard case, and everything. And so I got to change the strings on them. But like growing up, the guitar I had when I first tried to learn to play when I was like 16, 17, it was always Diodario XLs. Like that was the strings I always bought. I've never bought anything else.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious what's something good to.
So yeah, I really like the Elixir, the Nano Webs. I like the lightweight strings. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives you a little brighter sound. I like those a lot. So my electrics, I used to always run like the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. Mm-hmm. And then I had a 7-string for a while, so I'd run like a little bit heavier strings sometime on those, depending on what I was playing. But to be honest, especially if you're like we are at this point where we don't play, well, especially for me, I don't play a lot. I got little pussy fingers these days, so I like the lightweight strings.
I'm having to build them back up for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I used to play when I was a kid all day, every day, and that was my thing. And then, life and I have found times where I get in certain, mental ways in my life that if I just go out there and just play a little bit, and like if I get somewhere, I'm in there sitting there by myself, I'm in a good space, sometimes I'll just play. And as I got older, I found that I don't know if I can sing, but I can sing and play guitar at the same time. So I'm like, hey, and sometimes it's just for me. and it's just I'm able to just get it out and I enjoy it. So I'm trying to get back to that.
Yeah, I never could play and sing, and so when I was young and trying to learn, that I was surrounded by some super talented people. Like my best friend, like Sonny, he was really good at guitar. His dad played, and so he had that house where like his dad plays, so they can kind of sit there and play together. Like my dad didn't care anything about like he loved music, loved his country music and everything. He was always listening to music, but he didn't care anything about playing music.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't either, and so like it was just me trying to learn. And they bought me all the stuff I would need, but that only takes you so far. Having the gear is only part of it. And what I didn't realize is while they had so the other guy, like his dad played bass in a band, it's incredibly talented. So but they were both just like phenomenal at guitar. And so I would go try to play with them, and I would get discouraged as hell. But what I didn't realize is because they were surrounded by it, they practiced more. That was the main reason that they were better at it than I was. I would play for 10 minutes, get frustrated, go to something else, ADHD, and then I would try to come back. I would try to play every day, but I wasn't really progressing. I didn't have anybody to show me anything.
Right.
But if I had just stuck with it and played and seen what sounded right, I was in band. I know how to play the saxophone. So like I can hear what it should sound like. I understood what it takes to make a chord and the arpeggios and all this stuff. Like I got it from that perspective. But it didn't really start clicking until I was an adult. So now I'm trying to play, and like one thing I've learned that I struggle with, and I don't know why, dude, is like because I can play bass, I can sit there and kind of groove with it, but like trying to strum and it like and keep a good strum pattern and it sound right. I don't know why is like, and then I start trying to sing along with it, and it's like just a coordination thing that I've just got to work on.
Yeah, and it just you got to have the right. I don't know, I mean, the right song and the right emotion for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I went through a spell where several years ago, it was well back before we bought our house, and I played all the time. And I got started trying to sing a little bit, but it was one of those things like I got to do it when nobody's around, and then I got more comfortable with it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
oh yeah, and it's hard to do. And but if you have like the right acoustics in like the area, it makes a big difference. And then there went like once we bought our house, then there were some times where weekends I'd be on my own, and but there'd be some weekends I'd be on my own, and I would play Xbox and with my friends and my cousins and stuff like that. But then some weekends I would drink a little bit, and I would just sit there and I would just belt and just sing and play for hours right there in my kitchen. You had a nice sound to it. It was a good time, and I just gotten away from it over the years, and so it's like I pick it back up, and I'm like, I feel like an invalid. I can't do this, but um, I don't know. I mean, I did when I was a kid. I did all my playing. I tried to play, I guess, more of like picking and more electric uh, stuff, and I guess maybe not necessarily solos, but stuff that was hard to just play without a band. You know what I mean? And then I got a little bit older and I started playing more acoustic stuff. And I'm like, this is a little bit easier to do on your own. Pick up songs and just play them and be able to try to sing with it. And it's something I'd like to try to pick back up and get back into a little bit just for myself because I felt like whenever I was in times that I felt like I needed it, it helped.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
loving it, man. I even like I've had between meetings at work, like it'll be just a frustrating day, and that's what one good thing about the fact that they're right here. Like I'll literally just grab it off the wall. I've got
Yeah.
say a meeting ends 5 minutes early. It's like all right, it's 3 to 4 minutes. I can sit here and just strum chords, and because I used to be really bad. Like even my chord just transitions, like going from a C to a G chord. Like I felt like they were never smooth enough. And again, what I've learned is like just sitting here and playing and changing those chords back and forth, even though it sounds like I'm playing the same stuff over and over, it's helping because the more you do it, the better that muscle memory gets, the better you get
All
at
you
it.
need for a good country song is GCD.
Yeah. Yep. Well, like,
Just different strum patterns and maybe
so
an E every now and then or A.
yeah. So E is, so Neon Moon, Brooks and Dunn. I love Brooks and Dunn's. Brooks and Dunn and God, I can't talk. Clint Black, just my all time greats, and I can't leave Aaron Tippin out of that, I guess. But Neon Moon, is like all A chords and then D and E. And you just, but you just got to get the strum pattern down. And sometimes I think I'll be playing it and it just doesn't sound right. But it's right. I mean, it's on
Right.
key. It's just you're hearing it accompanied with everything else. And so if I'm say playing it on the radio and I'm playing along with it, I'm hearing way more of the guitar than what you probably hear in the song. But I love doing it. I mean,
And you're
it's
right there
great.
on top of it, so you hear all the extra vibrations and noises and stuff you don't hear. So that's where I would say if you find a spot that's got a good acoustic sound, like you might be able to just pull the car out of the garage, sit in the garage, shut the door, and that might
Mm-hmm.
give you a good sound. Put up a camera and record yourself. You might be like, all right, I don't want to look at myself playing or whatever, but you'll hear the difference. You'll see the difference, and you can see, and that'll help you pick up like where's a good spot that I can play that sounds good to me while I'm playing, and it
You
kind
know,
of promotes you to play more. I feel.
it's got really good acoustics for my voice type when I'm singing.
What?
The shower.
Yeah.
I am a
Oh yeah.
performer, cuz
Yeah.
that's one thing. Like I may not be the best singer in the world, but I love to. I sing all the time, and I never realized how much I like hum or whistle or whatever when I'm doing stuff. But I was doing a big PC deployment at a customer client site one time, and I went to this lady's desk and I was going to hook the PC up. She said, "What's your name again?" I said, "My name's James." She goes, "Oh, you're the one that's singing all the time." So apparently it had gotten around the office
God.
that I was the guy wandering around carrying computers and just kind of humming or singing to myself all the time. I was like, oh,
That's
sorry, but I'm not great at it at all, but I love to do it. And I feel for my wife and kids in the car because we head to Panama City and it's like, you are in for a 4-hour performance. I'm
yeah.
sorry to tell you.
So I guess for me, like when we were young, so when I was a kid, I've played since I was like in the 6th grade. I have an acoustic guitar. It's actually at my mom's house right now, but I learned on that guitar. Mom bought it when she was like 15 or 16. And so I learned playing on that. And then I got a really, really cheap electric guitar
Yeah,
from like
mine was
JC Penney. It was like from like JC Penney catalog or something one year for Christmas. And I
mhm.
mean, like the body of the guitar was probably about an inch thick. And it didn't have any other, it didn't have any like other little shapes or anything. It was just, like a board that was just cut out and it
And
had
had the
like
pickups in it.
yeah, it had like 2 single coil pickups in it. We called it, me and my friend that played all the time that had like all the amazing gear and everything that like helped me get into it. We called it the POS.
Mhm.
But it was like one of those cars that you have that's like you learn a lot from it. It may not be the greatest thing at the time. You want more, but then you look back and say, man, I learned a lot with that thing. And we beat the shit out of it and it just took it. And then later I got better guitars and more. And then but we played like I played some like we were like 16, 15, 16 years old and played a show at a local place. We opened for another band and I've actually got a CD from that band.
Oh, nice.
We did then like when I got older we did some open mic nights and stuff like that with another friend of mine with the acoustic stuff, and that was a good time. And I never was a partier or a drinker when I was a kid and younger, like all my friends got into. I was well into my 20s before I ever really started drinking. Found out that I could really hold my own a lot with alcohol, so I'm glad I waited. But then I guess we started kind of going to some bars, doing some karaoke, and sometimes you get that liquid courage and you realize, maybe I can do this. And I don't know, we had a lot of good times, and I don't necessarily want to do all the drinking and crazy stuff, but I think getting back into something like that you're a little bit creative, that and I know it might not be cheap hobby also because equipment's very expensive, but
Yeah.
a lot of the like if you get a good guitar, if you play guitar or whatever, you can do a lot with once you have it. And I mean there's a lot of people modify everything, there's ways to modify all that stuff, but like a good acoustic guitar, good electric guitar, that's really all you need. And just spend some time with it, get familiar with everything. The struggle that I have, so like when I learned how to start play, I learned by tablature only and by ear.
Yeah,
And
that was how I learned guitar. I
yeah,
mean, I can read sheet music, but I couldn't
yeah,
read sheet music to play guitar.
right. So that's how I was. I was in band all through middle school and I played the trumpet. and I could read sheet music and all that. But then I never could read sheet music on guitar. I learned everything with tablature or just picking it up by ear. And I did not
Mhm.
know chords or anything. And it wasn't until like my senior year in high school, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get back into playing or whatever. And I took a guitar class and I took that old acoustic that my mom had and that's what I used. And I learned how to read chords, learned the different chords because I didn't know any chords up till then. And I learned chords and I started learning how to read sheet music for guitar. But at this point, it's been so long, I can't do it anymore. I can do chord. I know chords and all that, but reading sheet music for guitar, no, I don't. But the ones that I've always struggled with the most is any type of bar.
I was just about to say, I always knew so G, C, and D. So the first song I ever really like would say that I learned was Free Fallin' because it's fall off a bike simple, at least the majority of it, the verse or whatever, like that song's pretty simple. So I learned, G, C, D, and A, and like bar chords kicked my ass then, and they kick my ass now. Even at my age, like, and it's just getting your hands used to it,
It
but it's
is.
just such a, trying to bar all of that. And like, I'm literally looking at a chord chart for a song that I had wanted to learn to play because I was going to mention it. It's one of my wife's favorite songs, and it's got a B minor chord in it, and it's like
Yeah, fuck, I hate F
like
and B minor.
F and B
So,
minor. Oh, and it has an F
so
sharp major in it too, or F
yeah,
sharp
so
minor.
I've got I think it's like the ultimate guitar, like the tabs and chords app or whatever on my phone. I think it's Ultimate Guitar. I think it's the company. But on
Yeah.
my, but anyways, at one time I had the paid version of it, but I don't right now. But so one thing I do like about it is, so I need to work on bar chords because that's a weakness, and I mean, especially with anything, you do better once you work on your weaknesses, everything else follows. But
Hmm.
I find myself, especially now, trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm like, all right, let me get back in the swing of things. Get maybe pick up a new song. Just review some old songs I used to play a lot, and get back in the swing of things, and then maybe start really working on bar chords. But that app, they typically a lot of them will have you can click a button and keep bumping it, and they'll give you alternate versions with different chords.
Mm.
And so I usually will go through. I'm like, all right, I'll try to play it something, a song that I want to learn with some of the bar chords. I'm like, all right, fuck this. And I'm like, what can I keep doing? So, and then I've got it was a capo, however you want to pronounce it. I've got a couple of them. So I don't know. Well, like, what brought me to all this was the guitars, and I was thinking about my strings. So the last time that I really got into this, I was like, all right, I bought new strings. So I bought my daughter a guitar. It was like a Strat clone, and it's actually a really nice guitar for what I get. I paid $80 for it and a Squire amp. And the guy I got it from was a college kid. He's like, "Yeah, I got it for Christmas one year, and it's just I've never played it." It's like, "Oh, okay." And it's like the Sunburst. It's just like a Strat, but it's like some off the wall brand. But it's a nice heavy feeling guitar. I mean, it's got good sound to it. And so when I got it I was using the elixirs on everything. I'd never done the electric guitar with elixirs. So I'd ordered like a couple sets of strings for her guitar, strung it up. I'd strung up my Ibanez electric. I had, put strings on my acoustic and I haven't really touched it. So I've pulled it out some lately and been playing with it. And I'm like, man, these strings look great. But they're at least 5 or 6 years old at this point, and I'll retune it and go click and play, and it's like they go out of tune instantly.
Well, that's only
And
like this
it's
thing
just
it's I hang it on the wall. I take it down and play it 30 minutes a day at least, and it's rock solid. So I'm like, damn, I don't want to change them because
right.
they're staying in tune. You're talking about the app though. I paid for a year, and I want to say it was like $120 for the whole year. And so I'm going, all right, we blow that on dinner. If we go
Yeah.
somewhere nice with the whole family, 5 of us. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna treat myself instead of buying like a new video game. It's the Musician.
Okay.
And it's imagine if you were playing Guitar Hero but with a real guitar, like, and it teaches you the chord, and it can go from beginner all the way up, but for the money that you pay, it has courses for piano, guitar, bass, voice, and ukulele.
So
You
I've got a ukulele. It's not a great one. I bought it when I went to Hawaii in 2003. and I got a hard case for it and everything. And I've put strings on it. And like, so, I mean, if I've kind of picked up some of piano over the years from guitar tablature, and it all kind of transfers. You just have to figure out the notes and the keys and everything.
First, third,
and
or fifth gives you the chord, right? You do a major seventh, you want to add that. And so you just go from there.
Yeah. And like, I remember I taught myself when I was in high school how to play like the beginning to the end, from Linkin Park on the piano, from, guitar tablature. And
I've got to get back to it because one of the things that is amazing to me is people that like finger pick guitars. When you're picking multiple strings and stuff, it just the sound of it is amazing. And
it does.
I started learning the beginning to Mad World.
Okay,
that song, you know what I'm talking about? It was in the Gears of War. So it's amazing on piano. And at one point, I think I'd kind of picked it out on the piano, but like on the guitar, it sounds crazy cool on an acoustic guitar. But so I learned Fast Car, Tracy Chapman, but the Luke Combs version. And it's got a lot of that. So you kind of finger pick it. And me coming from playing bass and saxophone, finger picking feels more natural than playing with a pick.
Right. So for me, I've never done well with finger picking. Maybe it's because I got these sausage fingers here. But I don't know. I mean, I used to play a lot of heavier stuff when I was in school. And like, I remember the first song that the first, like, I guess a little bit more involved song that I learned how to play the whole song through every part of the song was Last Resort from Papa Roach. Wow. Yeah. And I was like in middle school when I learned that. And I would just be in there just blasting it out. We did a thing one time for like a poetry reading thing, and we played Outside from Sane. And we actually had some friends of ours that were girls at the time we were in school, and they sang the portion of it and we played it. But now looking back, I'm like, we should have sang it because it didn't turn out very good. But anyway, we had a good time. Like, I remember we were there all day long in this little room, and then like we were in there hanging out, and like I had my acoustic and my buddy had his electric, but he had like, a pedal and all. So he had like switched to like an acoustic setting. And I'm like, here, let me play with it. I'm in there like playing. He's like, everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it was a good times. But I mean, another one of my favorite ones to play was Aerials from System of a Down.
Man, that's one of my all-time, like, one of my favorite songs. A Lonely Day is a little above it, but
I like playing that song a lot. It's got a cool sound to it.
So the one I got to learn for Crystal is Iris, the Goo Goo Dolls. She loves that song.
Yeah.
And but I watched a YouTube tutorial on it, and I was like, this is crazy. He said when they played it originally that literally every string is tuned to D.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it was like late. I was messing around with the guitar. I was like, I'm not fixing to detune my entire guitar at 10 o'clock at night, to do it.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking at an Ultimate guitar, and there's one with standard tuning that's all, but I'm wondering if it sounds right.
I've also found it's going to depend on, like, if you'll say if you're going to sing, it depends on the application and the person and your voice and the octaves you can hit. So, I mean, that makes a difference. If you're going to play like it acoustically or electric or whatever, it makes a difference. And, I found, so like there were some songs, I think it was Justin Moore. I used to try to play a lot of his stuff, but he would have all his tunings in like a drop tuning. So like, this is how, like, I got to the point where some of the stuff I used to play when I was younger, all of our electric stuff, that I would like tune down like drop C tuning.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I had a 7-string electric and all that. So we were into some heavier stuff back in the day. The one thing I'd love to have, I still want, is a 12-string acoustic.
My buddy's dad had one of those, and I used to enjoy playing around with it.
Such a motherfucker. A good friend of mine had one, and he was like, they sound amazing, but it's not worth it.
Well, I'll tell you, so my son kind of wanted to get into it. We had him do a few lessons, but he was still more interested in like doing his taekwondo stuff, and it was a lot trying to do it all during the week in school. But we still got him a guitar for Christmas, and we picked this thing up at Guitar Center for $79. It's a Luna, and it's like a 3/4 acoustic, so it's not quite as big.
You're right.
Dude, I like to pick the thing up and just kind of plink around on it if I'm just sitting on the couch or whatever. And I mean, it's a good little guitar for the money, especially for if you got somebody that's kind of interested in getting started.
Right.
It was it was a Black Friday or something special for like $79, but still it was.
So I'm super content with my electric that I have. So I bought a single cutaway electric acoustic Fender electric acoustic, shit, probably 16, 17 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one that I play on all the time. And it holds a good tune. It sounds great. Other than right now, the strings are old as shit. So that's not helping it. But so then I still have my mom's old, it's a Yamaha. She, like I said, she bought when she was 15. So that
Mm-hmm.
thing's been around a while. Not trying to call you old, mom, but I mean, it's got a beautiful, deep, bright sound to it, and it looks amazing. It's got a little wear and tear on it, but it sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that Fender electric acoustic I have because, and it's pretty durable. And I think I paid like $350 brand new with the hard case that it came with. And I bought that one because we were starting to play some open mic nights, and so that way to be able to plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I've got just my 6 string. It's an AX series Ibanez, and it's
I
just a
love
six
my Ibanez.
string. Yeah, it's just a 6 string. It's got dual humbuckers on it, but I really want a telly, and I want a Schecter, however you pronounce them, electric guitar. And so I'd like to get like a telly. Maybe I don't know if I'd want. So I played one time in a pawn shop when I was in high school, and I felt it was a single fat telly. So it had one humbucker, and I think it had 2 single coil pickups. And I loved it. It sounded amazing. But that was back when I could pick and play a lot more than I can now. But I want one so bad after that. And I want a nice, good, maybe even get another 7 string. But I don't really play as much heavy stuff anymore. But I'd like to have another good, you know, electric guitar with humbuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And I like my Ibanez, but the way the body on that one's made, it makes it kind of bottom heavy. Um, but it's not bad. I mean, it's really not. But I think it's only a 22 fret neck instead
Mm-hmm.
of 24. But I bought that when I was like 15, so that's not going anywhere. My acoustic I have is not going anywhere. Mom's isn't going anywhere. But I'd like to have a telly. Debating on a single fat one, or if I can get a good deal, just a regular telly, and then get a like a Schecter or something.
Yeah.
Just something that's I can like beat on and play with a little bit. I'd like to have another guitar with a Floyd Rose on it again. I had a 7 string Stage Master, and that one had a Floyd Rose, but I beat the shit on that guitar. I played hard with it, and it never would stay in tune right for me. Probably because it wasn't set up right.
Mm-hmm.
But I sold that and bought and built my first motor for my Trans Am
Nice.
right
Yeah.
like late in high school.
Money was tight, like not tight in the sense like I had to sell it to
Right.
pay bills or anything, but it was just like this thing sitting collecting dust. But my first guitar, I got it when I was 15, 16 for Christmas. Similar to what you were talking about that guy. But it was a crate Electra, so it looked like a Squire Strat, but like
Okay.
a knockoff of a knockoff.
Right.
But I did have
That's
a
kind of how
nice
my
like
daughter's guitar is.
yeah, but I did have a nice like I had a nice Marshall amp, and I had a Zoom pedal, and I loved that pedal because it had a. I
It's
never
like a
was great
Zoom
at like
606.
707.
Okay, I got a Zoom 606.
That's the big thing I regret getting rid of is the pedal, to be honest,
Yeah.
because just all the different things. But the big thing I liked was I could kick on the drum machine on the thing, and I could just sit there and it's like I might not have been great at just picking out a bunch of random songs, but I could throw the drum machine on, and I would just sit there and maybe I was playing power chords, maybe I was just picking scales, but I loved doing that, and honestly, I think that's where you learn the most about just
Right. And
learning the
that's what I
guitar.
used to do. That's one thing that I struggled with was scales.
Mhm.
And I learned everything by tablature and learned by ear. So like I didn't really know all the fundamentals like chords and scales, and that's something that at this point in my life I'm like, all right, I just need to pick at it a little bit and get back into it and get to a place where I'm comfortable, and then okay, I'm gonna roll back into scales and try to hone everything in because I think that's something that I would really enjoy getting back into. A good healthy outlet that's not going to be super expensive to where I
Well,
can
once
just
you
grab it.
got it, yeah, I mean, it can be as expensive as you want, but you've got the
Right.
guitar, you got the gear, you can just play.
Right. And like I said, I've got multiple amps right now. And like for if you're just you hanging out, you don't need anything more than like a 10, 15, 20 watt amp.
Yeah, I picked up for the bass. My bass amp had died, and the little practice amp that I had, it was a teeny tiny one. But same thing, Guitar Center right around Christmas, they had the what is this one? I got the Rumble 25. So I didn't buy the 15. I bought the Rumble 25.
Right.
Great little amp, man. And I
Oh
think I get
yeah.
like $130 for
Yeah.
it. And I mean,
So I've got,
that was great.
I think it's a PV amp that I bought when I was in high school. And it's like a small one, like a 15 to 25, somewhere in there. And then when I bought my daughter's guitar, it came with a Squire amp. And then somewhere along the way, I picked up another amp that I think my dad got me because dad's big on going to thrift stores and all. And when I was a kid, you never noticed it, but now you get older, I'm like, man, I find some weird deals on stuff that when I was a kid I'd have killed for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how do you find this shit? But it's just, figured finding places and people. But I guess so. I guess we've been running kind of long here, so I'm
Yeah,
going
we're
to
a
bring
little
it up.
over. And all the car guys are
Well,
gonna be mad. We're just talking about guitars, but I could
well,
talk
with
about music for a long time.
I guess thinking about like one of the first few songs, I'm going to try to end my stuff off here, and then with everything that's happened, the last week or so, I think one of the first songs, I know, like I said, one of the first songs I learned all the way through was Iron Man,
Mm.
Ozzy. We lost Ozzy last week, so I just remember here I am like middle school, and you're at that weird age, and I'm in there with I think it was an album for the movie Detroit Rock City. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It was
Mm-hmm.
based around. It had Edward Furlong in it, and they were like in the '70s. They were going to go see a Kiss concert, and so it's got
Oh,
a
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a great soundtrack to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just remember, Iron Man's on there. I mean, yeah. And it's just like I would play that song over and over again. And I remember one time, and I'm in there with my guitar, my amp, and I got the lights off, and I had a strobe light, and I'm in there in the dark, just like having a blast. And I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be the
dude.
next Ozzy. Look at me now.
Yeah, that album had Running with the Devil,
Yeah,
Cat
it's a good
Scratch
album.
Fever, Highway to Hell, Iron
Yeah,
Man,
I've got the CD. It's in my Trans Am.
Strutter. Oh yeah, dude. That was a good one.
So
I
and
never had
then
that album.
the 20th Century Boy, I
Mm-hmm.
like that band that covered it. It's a really good version. It's kind of heavier, but it's pretty good. I like it. So I've got that album in my Trans Am, and every now and then I'll pop it in and cruise around. Like anytime I've got two CD cases in my car that are all the CDs that I had and made when I was in middle school and high school. All my burnt
Mm-hmm.
CDs and any of the CDs I had growing up. So those are the ones I pop in that car when I ride around.
Yep. Still got my Van Halen greatest hit CD in the CD player of mine. But I've got the CD a bunch of like jewel cases with from the CDRs came with. I've got a stack of them in my on my shelf in there that's got all my old music in it. Some I burned, some albums I
Yeah,
saved. Three Doors Down was a big one for me. I listened to a lot of Three Doors Down. The Away from the Sun album, and then I think Kryptonite was the other one. But I was telling Crystal the other day, we kind of missed the chance to go see them, and he's dealing with going through cancer treatments, lead singer for Three Doors Down, and I think it's pretty far along. But he was telling him in the interview, he's like, I'm just gonna put on the song "It's Not My Time" and just like blast it over and over and over again. I was like, I
right.
love that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's so many that I want to learn to play every night. When I sit down, I'm like, I don't know what I want to mess with tonight, so I end up just kind of picking. But getting back into it, man, it's really been good for me for sure. That in the gym, if I had to like if just everything went away tomorrow, if I could play music and work out,
Honestly,
I think I'd be all right.
I felt that too. I mean, I think that's a large part of what I need to get back into my life and my routine is I miss the gym. But it's hard. I don't know. I like doing a lot of stuff on my own, but the nice thing with what I was doing, you get some of the camaraderie, and I met a lot of great people in
Yeah.
that atmosphere. And we would do competitions and all. I didn't agree with all the training things that the way that we did, but looking back, there's a lot of it that if you take it as not if you don't go out there trying to go as hard as you can every time and understand, I'm just moving to better myself. And it's not all physical. You're at a point where it's a lot of emotional side of it too. And the moving and just being around other people, it helps a lot.
Well,
And the
getting those
music's the same.
endorphins going is huge. But, I told you I read the book Atomic Habits, right? And one of the things that I really wanted to make a point of was like the gym is this much of your fitness and everything else, especially if you're like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, right? The gym is just everyone's like, oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
go and
it's
burn a
very
bunch of
little.
calories. Like, I'm sorry, you could lift weights for 2 friggin' hours. You're not burning enough calories to offset like all the stuff you're eating. It's important for for a lot of reasons to go and work out, build muscle mass, raise your base metabolic rate, all whatever, right? But adopting the type of lifestyle that says, hey, I'm a guy who just likes to be active and do some physical things. Like when I find opportunities to even do, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
carrying the dog food in, right? Like I might farmers carry it or, whatever, like little things that you can do in your life. So Atomic Habits talks about habit stacking. So take something you do every day and add on something that you would like to do. And I literally have gotten to where like if I brush my teeth, I do 30 incline push-ups on the bathroom counter. So now I know I'm doing 60 every day. But now I found like I go to the bathroom and wash my hands. I'm like, I can do 10 really quick, and then I'll do push-ups throughout the day. And so what that means is even if I didn't go to the gym, I did something today.
Yeah.
And just for me to not feel like a piece of crap when I didn't make it to the gym, I at least am doing. So I got some 20-pound dumbbells, 35-pound dumbbells. I'll do some curls and stuff like that when I'm home. And I try to just incorporate that in my daily routines. And that's helped me because a lot of days I can't get away to go to the gym on lunch or whatever. So just something to think about, man. If you really want to check it out, that book was actually really good. It just talks about like you're not what you were saying. You're not going to just go be this Olympic lifter tomorrow, but it's how do I get 1% better
Yeah.
today,
Oh yeah.
tomorrow, the next day.
The only bad thing, especially with people like us, that it's like we need multiple hobbies, the things, and it's probably just for the different stages in life you get in. Things happen. It's like, okay, I don't have time for this right now, and then so you pick up something else,
Got to
and
fill it
then
with
what
something.
happened? So when I was very focused on doing all the gym stuff, and I was doing a little bit of coaching, and I was in there all the time, I didn't do shit with any of my cars. That shit just sat around,
Same.
and I really just didn't do a lot with them. And I haven't been doing that for like a year or so now, just because of life and changing jobs, and I've gotten a little bit more doing more car stuff. So it's you got to understand that you can't, especially if you've got kids and a life and doing other things, you can't do it all. And the problem is just trying to find a happy medium with that, and it just takes time. We'll get there.
Yep. I mean, it's seasons, man,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
you just got to keep going, and that's the thing, man. Just get 1% better, and sometimes that's at one thing or another. But just be the person
Got
you
to
want to
keep
be.
on keeping on.
Just keep on. Keep life's a garden. Dig it. All right.
All right.
Well, it is late, and we are officially back in school season, at least down here in Georgia. So I'm gonna go tuck these kids in because they got to get up early. And yeah, man, we'll catch everybody in the next one.
Yeah. See y'all
All right.
later.
Have a good evening, folks.